Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Let's take a look here. Current blood sugar at 1816, so 619, sorry. Didn't wear my glasses. I am currently up to date with my calibrations. My blood sugar is 6.3. I had someone ask, what is the blue kind of shield look? That tells me that a program on my pump called Smart Guard, which shuts off if I drop too low. It'll stop giving me insulin for, I think it's 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. And then it'll start going up. Most of the time when you're low and you go, oh, I'm low, and you start treating. But if you don't, let's say you're asleep, the Smart Guard will kick in. The Smart Guard also allows for correction. You've heard me talk about the blue lines a couple of times. Those are corrections. So my blood sugar came down today from 11 to 1 and it dipped to 4.3 and then is now currently at 6.3. This is kind of close before I start treating for low. Doesn't mean that number works for you. So you need to speak to your endocrinologist to come up with a number that works best for you. There, just sort of make you felt so far away before. Okay, so time and range. Pretty good, 90%. This is still a little high. No, I don't want you right now. 10% is a little too high. We got rid of the lows, but this still. So this is what I'm working on. I went high a bit today, but now, you know what? I'm starting to look good. Yeah, I'm starting to look good. Average sugar millimoles per liter is 7.7. That's an awesome blood sugar. Except for this, I'm taking this mostly as a win. Yay. Today is going to be kind of more an inspirational chat. I'm not just a T1D. Stay tuned and we'll discuss it in a moment. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. My life as a T1D, I talk about it every single day. I hope some of it resonates with you and you're able to understand and grasp. I'm a presenter. I like to present my life as a type 1 diabetic. When I was looking to do a YouTube channel, I was thinking, what kind of channel could I do? One summer when I first started, I would talk about current news topics and give my impression on those. Didn't like it. Somebody really did not like one of the stories I did and would just keep hounding me. I blocked them and decided that may not be the one for me. So, coming to something I knew quite a bit about from experience from living, type 1 diabetes. But I spend an awful lot of time looking at my blood sugars, deciphering what's happening. But that's not my whole life. I don't sit here all day. Whoops. Oh, here it comes. I know. Oops, I dropped one. That would drive you insane. So I have a different interest. For me, a hobby of mine is YouTube. I enjoy talking and bringing my life stories to everyone on this channel. Now, it should be the same for you. Don't engross yourself so much into your blood sugars and really start to worry if your blood sugar starts to climb and it goes up 3 points. Oh my God, life is going to be over. No. You can deal with your blood sugars, but it doesn't have to encompass every aspect of your life. We know that diabetes can affect it, but you can go on dates. You can go for a walk. You can go hiking. One of these staff here who also has type 1 diabetes goes regularly for a walk. He worked as a tugboat captain. Do you think he has, sitting here on the phone, he has his blood sugar on a watch? But he doesn't sit there and, oh my God, look, I'm low. Oh no. Come on, he has a job to do here, and he can't do that. Just like when I was working, I couldn't sit here and, plan my whole day out. Yes, I'm getting a little low, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll straighten it out. But you offer so much more. Having type 1 diabetes should encompass one little tiny aspect of your life. It's an important aspect, but one tiny little aspect. You can knit, you can sew, you can contribute to life, you can go to college, you can go to university. Sorry. You don't need to constantly be so worried about everything. I do a little thing, I tell you what my blood sugar is, but it's pretty well, okay, I'm going to do an introduction here. I'm going to take a look at what my blood sugar is. Up till then, I don't really care. Until this alarms and says you're low or you're high, I usually just let it go. And if I'm curious or if nurse comes in and wants to know the blood sugar, I can give them the blood sugar. But that's the whole aspect. Now, we did a video where I talked about time management. Time management is going to be your dosing times, your planning your meals, seeing the doctor, ordering supplies. All that can be done in a couple of hours a week. If you go over 14 hours a week, you may want to take a look at disability, part of the CPP program. But take only if you really require it. If you're just going through a short time and your blood sugars are all out of whack, You can apply for CPP disability. Not all diabetics get approved. If that was the case, every time you were a diabetic, you'd end up like me. They would have homes for just diabetics. Come on, really? Don't let diabetes hinder your life. If I did, I would just sit here all day twiddling my thumbs. I wouldn't produce YouTube videos, which I have an interest in. I have an interest in teaching. So, married the two, I got a YouTube channel out of it. But controlling my blood sugar, as I mentioned before, it's sort of like, for me, diabetes is right here. It's never going to leave me. It's always going to be right here. So I deal with the blood sugars. When I have to. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to have it back here and pretend I don't have T1D. I have T1D, and every so often, things don't look great. But then, within a day, things could change around and you start feeling better about yourself. Now, one of the other aspects about being a T1D and not letting it control your whole life is someone who wants to bully you because you are a type 1 diabetic. So, they want the reaction. Don't give it to them or say, yeah, I am, so what? Well, you're a freak. No, I don't think I am, but thank you for letting me know, and walk away. There's so many different ways you can become better than the bully. People are going to try to force their ideas about diabetes onto you. And you've got to be able to put them aside, maybe ask a question of your doctor or your nurse, and say, if I do X, will Y happen? Things like, oh, you're going to lose your foot. Oh, you're going to go blind. My grandmother has diabetes. Yeah, but does your grandmother, grandfather have type 1? And I don't know. Well, maybe you can come back later when you know, and we can have the discussion. And besides that, everyone's different. I've had that happen. I've had to lay down the law and let people know that I was not going to accept what they had to offer. One of my times in high school, grade 8, I got into high school and I was the fat kid. Yeah, I know, I'm still the fat kid. But anyway, I lost a whole bunch of weight thanks to diabetes. And I slimmed down and I started to grow. And by the time I got back to school, people didn't really know who I was. But they knew I was diabetic. And there was this one person, I think it was, we had to take shop classes, and this guy was in shop class and found out I was diabetic and would say, oh, you're a diabetic, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, so? They want the reaction. Doesn't matter if it's a work person, school, don't give them the reaction. If you can, turn it around to be a positive. And yes, I'm a diabetic. So, I don't know if the person has red hair. So you have red hair. Does that mean you've lost a gene? But we have to always be aware that we have diabetes and it's going to be there. I'll include this point in our little story today. Type 1 diabetes is here. But if it has to tell you something, open up the big noggin and listen. When I was in class and it was around lunchtime, I would always dip. My blood sugar would always drop, and I would sit there and I wouldn't participate in class anymore, but it was in fact, this story is kind of funny. Our social studies teacher went out of the room and he kind of put the desks in, sort of broke the rows up. When we first went in there, it was a traditional classroom. And then he broke it up. It must be another class. He was doing a government class or whatever. And being grade 8 students, the year before we were in elementary school, we were king of the school, and they started to have a paper fight. And he did the old thing about everyone stand up. And if you threw a piece of paper, stay standing and sit down. Everyone else in the class sat down except for me. After we finally got out for lunch, one of the kids came over to me and said, "Well, why did you remain standing?" I said, "I just wanted out of that class. I had to eat. My blood sugar was low." And that was the end of it. He wasn't coming over as nitpicking, but it was my body listening to this diabetes here. Diabetes is always here, and sometimes it needs to really kind of hit you in the head so that you can listen. Listen when you're high, when you're low. A question of mine, and I'm sure most of all our families have asked this question at some point. Are you low? No, I'm fine. Are you high? No, I'm fine. Yeah, we're not really that fine, are we, guys? No. So, be aware, take care of yourself, listen to your little buddy here, but don't be watching every second. Do you think the staff member here who has it is going to constantly be looking at their watch? They get nothing done. They wouldn't have a job anymore. Imagine that, not having a job because you are wasting your whole time looking at diabetes and not achieving the goals set forth by you. Have your little friend, but listen to your little friend. If you're low, take out your blood test, do a blood test, have something to eat. Most teachers will realize that if they have a diabetic student, sometimes things will happen. When I went to school, we were all still expected to be the model pupil. And if we had a low, God, did you take too much insulin? No, it was just where I was dipping. At this point, I had not learned how to correct my own blood sugar. Some say I don't know how to now. Yeah, right. But after that, my doctor set up a plan and taught me how I can control my own blood sugars. Came in handy a few times. So, no, I'm not only a T1D. You don't have to live up to other expectations. Listen to your body, but don't use the technology to sit here. Oh my God, I'm high again. Oh my God, I'm low again. Oh, no one's going to help in doing that. You are diabetic, true, but there's so much more of you out there. And with that, have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. But before I go, I didn't do this at the beginning. Tell us your story about learning how to cope with type 1 diabetes and making sure type 1 diabetes doesn't become a hindrance for you. It'd be interesting to hear. Have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.